everybody. I thought I would make a channel update because it's about halfway through August, actually exactly halfway through August. And I've been a little bit quieter than usual. I've been having some computer-related issues, and work, honestly, gets in the way of a lot of this stuff. So, and I work on way too many things, so I'll give you a brief rundown of this stuff, in case anybody's paying attention. And then general StuG Life information. So, this is my StuG as it sits. I had it camoed last night with green, and I hated it, so I repainted it this morning. I've been having a ton of airbrush issues, and until I can get that under control, I was like fighting with it, so I'd rather just have this be yellow, even though the last thing I built was also just yellow, the Nashorn. I figure, why not, whatever. So, there she is. I just started detail painting like earlier today. There's some tow cables going down, but I'll get there. The wheels turned out fine. The return rollers, which aren't in here with me at the moment, look fine. Chipping is the bigger ones I put on now. I don't want it to be very chipped in general, but I put on larger ones, then I'm going to do clear coats, and then I'm going to do another level of even smaller ones on top of that. Again, I've talked about this kit a lot. It was fine. Once the masks work good for the wheels and everything is good to go. So the tracks are, I clear coated them today, and then I'll do a wash and then metal color, and then those will be done. And then it's just a matter of like pin washing this, and I'll probably do some oil stuff on it. I really just want to get it off the bench because I've got a lot going on at work, and I want to make sure that I finish this in time for my own deadline, which is pretty funny. But again, I can't speak highly enough of this kit. I love this thing. I do have, I think, 4 more StuGs, and I'm glad, because sometimes you build things and you have a bunch, let's say Tigers, and they're not all great. So that's where that is. It's going to be just yellow, not too heavy of chipping. I'll probably do some pretty heavy oil streaking just to make it look interesting, and maybe like a really stark wash, like a blacker colored wash, but that's it. Alright, so other stuff I've been doing. This thing was resurrected from, well, honestly, it was in a box under my couch for a while. The Panzer IV Super Kit, which I finally painted the interior on a while ago. I've got to do a little touch-up on the top of the cupola there, but this is DAC Panzer IV-E. There's not, again, this will be single-colored, pretty heavy chipping on this one. But I'm just glad to have finished it. It was actually the second, I think, Dragon kit I ever made. It overwhelmed me and I put it away. I think I showed it once before. But I got my airbrush working enough that I can lay down solid coats, so I just did this. So this should be done pretty soon. Its tracks are also at the same stage the StuGs are, so these two builds are actually in really similar states. This was actually a really good kit. I wish I just waited to build it. I have another one, like the D version, that I'll build a long time from now. But so I'm working on this as well. Then, sort of more interesting to the public is the Rye Field Tiger, which I knocked this together in about 2 days and then kind of lost mojo on it. I wanted to like get it done right away so that everybody could see what I thought of like how it built up, but it's got some issues and it kind of turned me off, to be honest with you. Those tow cables are amazing. I think only this side is completely done. Like, I still have to put these clamps on the other side. I had some issues fitting the fivals correctly, so they're not even glued down here. They just sat a little lower than I thought they would, but that could just be me being really psychotically anal about stuff. There are a number of problems with this thing, which I plan on making a video about, but I'll just mention it briefly. Like, they tell you to put these, cover the tops on the exhaust, which is wrong. These bolts don't match up with the fenders, which I haven't actually run into that, but I read Burden's thing about it. The smoke launchers are completely the wrong... Did I just knock something off? I did. Yep, I just knocked off a little bracket there. It's fine, it's still there. These smoke launchers are too short show you. There's the torsion bars in there, which is cool. These brackets are way too short this way, and these smoke launchers are way too thick. So I'm actually planning on just ripping this off, getting it as clean as I can, and putting on some Dragon ones before I paint it. Of curious mention is like that there's no breach in here, because there's obviously going to be the interior one, because there's all that interior stuff in there. That I thought was different. We noticed that this raised thing here doesn't make any sense at all. That's like never been on a Tiger, so we don't know what that's doing there. This cupola was beautiful, although I had a little problems positioning it open, but it's really nice. But again, it just, there was like fit issues with the turret going together. Like there's actually a gap. Like right there, you can see it up in here. This didn't go together terribly well. Parts of this were a little clunky. I left all the torsion bars movable, and that was actually kind of tough to get happening on this particular kit. Make sure I don't lose that clip. Alright. I will show, this is the workable final drive. So the sprocket just glues right to there. Then all the wheels are also workable, and there's a workable idler. So all the wheels and suspension will be workable on this thing. So that is very cool. There's just a couple of issues that Rye Field needs to address, with some stuff being super out of scale and maybe completely wrong like this. But whatever, it goes together pretty quick. Had a little issue getting the photo etch down on that fender, but so I work on this in Hangouts. I've been missing Hangouts because, again, work. But that's the Rye Field Tiger. Should be done, I don't know when it's going to be done. Oops. So right before I was doing that, this is the Tamiya DAC, which if you want to like look at detail comparisons, because these were your two options, and Dragon's re-releasing theirs, but you can just see that the this is very bland and this is not. Even though this part is wrong, this is correct. The cupola details are not even comparable. Like Rye Field, for instance, had a handle for this ventilator cover. Tamiya had a molded on one that I've sanded off. Like the little things for the front machine gun are really nothing on Tamiya's, and they stick out really well. And here, the tools are not even on here yet. But one thing that is right about Tamiya's, though, is the height of these brackets, even though I use Dragon stuff on here. So it's funny, because I don't even know that I'll finish the Tamiya one. I wanted to build it before I got the Rye Field one, and it just didn't pan out. I didn't have time. So I got it up to this level, so at least I can compare them, sort of. But like this one will have standard tow rope configuration and stuff, where it shouldn't. If you're doing 501, it should look like this, at least most of the time, I believe. So those are, they were like a companion build thing. So I've lost mojo completely on this, because I have a better DAC Tiger that I've also sort of lost the interest in building. Then I'm also still working on this, which is Dragon 6700 mid with Zimmerit. The Zim is a little not heavy enough for my personal taste, but whatever. In this thing, I did the turret interior as far as I'm gonna do it anyway. And I think all I have to do really is the other side fenders, and like very, very little. This thing's almost done. So, but again, there's too many Tigers on the bench, and I kind of just don't care right now. That little thing, the barrel travel lock, is like a lot of pieces and was a huge pain. So this thing's okay. It's not as bad as I thought it was. I heard horror stories. Oop, there goes the wheel. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't great either, but it wasn't that bad. So that's, again, basically almost ready for paint, but I'm a little bit... I build too many things, and I lose interest in them very quickly, if you can't tell. Another one from forever ago. I have this half primed. I literally, if I'm priming, like when I was priming the Stug, if I had primer left over or black in the brush, I would just shoot it on this to like empty the cup. It's like paint saving priming, because I'm just really not that into this thing. So I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'll prime it whenever something's in there. Oh, some pieces I have to fix. And then I forgot to fill that, so I filled it before finishing priming. I could, in theory, just go finish this today. It'd be really easy to prime it up. But painting with my airbrush issues has been a huge source of stress, so I've been trying to just build things and not paint things. I may just get new airbrush. I don't know. I have a ultrasonic cleaner I'm supposed to get soon, so we'll see if that helps. The last thing I'm working on, technically, is this thing, which is the Panzer III from Dragon that I'm doing a build review of. I've just been building this at night, like if I get a little time. There's a lot actually wrong with this, which I'll get into in a later video, but a lot of it's a lot like the initial J, like these turret parts are all there, or exactly like the initial J I built, but there's stuff called out that's not even in the box. Like, they tell you to use the photo etch for this idler, but they didn't include that fret, so I just left it, like, whatever. All kinds of stuff. This thing just poked at me too much. Like, there's so much filling that has to go on in a lot of this stuff. Most of what they, like, everything has to have stuff cut off and stuff filled, which is super annoying because it means they didn't really tool anything new. They just made new instructions, threw in old parts, and were like, well, if you want it to look like this, basically scratch build it. It's a hack and slash thing, and it's freaking annoying, but it's getting there. And I like Panzer IIIs, and they all look super good when they're built up. But so that's that build. So if you can't tell, I have too much on the go. Bring the Stug back. I have a tendency to bury myself in things, but I have a very short attention span, so that's kind of why I do that. So the StuG Life stuff has been going really well. We have 30 people officially, and I think there's still 5 more that are like maybes. I don't know that they'll start. I highly doubt it. But yeah, man. Hamilker's already done. I think Shane's getting close to done. Carlos's modulation looked amazing. And when I can't even get like an even coat with my airbrush, it makes me very sad. At my own skills. But it's been fantastic. I think when Carlos did a little music video intro that was like amazing, and then like the same day I think Panzerman Bill put up his drawing, which also for some reason just made me, you feel like you've arrived when certain members of the community are doing things, and I was like, yeah, this thing is out of control, this is awesome. So if anybody out there still wants to join it, you got, what, a month and a half. I'll put a list of everybody at the end again. I'll try not to get anybody's kit wrong this time. Even I, honestly, similar to Willie Vet, I hit a bit of a roadblock on this thing, just due to paint, honestly. So it's not like I can not finish, because I have to finish. It's my build. But I understand some people are hitting the wall, so it's completely not important. Just build a Stug. Any old Stug doesn't need to be awesome. Like, I don't want anybody to stress out over it. That was disconcerting. I was like, well, this is not meant to be a source of stress. So hopefully everybody just has fun. Like right now, I didn't like the camo. I don't really like that chipping. Not my best work, but like, I don't care. I'm gonna finish her. I'm going to learn the lessons, and I'm going to go forward and build more stuff. And that's all this is meant for, was that we all like Stugs, and let's build them. So, like I said, we got 30, which is awesome. And the one finish I saw, Hamilker's looked really, really nice. And it's been very gratifying to see how strong the community response was to the StuG Life thing. So, hopefully it finishes strong. Hopefully everybody can finish. I know that doesn't ever happen, but hopefully most of them do. And I will probably be doing more reviews. I know I'll be doing more for Kitmaker coming up, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, like, so that that Tauk Panzer, it's eating some of my time for this, which I don't even have because I have like an actual job. So, you know, it's a blessing and a curse doing reviews for an actual organization, because then like I can build it up and I can tell people what's wrong with it, but it will eat into my time for my own personal work. So, all right, it's enough for me. Let's see a list of everybody who is building StuGs.